Number 2, dare to care. Does the driver of this car care? I don't know. It's clearly a man, because only a man would do this. Doesn't care about the pet, doesn't care about staying in good shape, doesn't care about traffic safety. Evidence of not caring is rampant, which is good for you. You have an opportunity to make the mundane memorable, to do what nobody else was doing. There's a lot of organizations that are doing this. Salvation Army, for example. Now, their slogan is doing the most good. And usually, Salvation Army, right? November 13th, somewhere around there, you're going into the store, picking up some stuff from Thanksgiving, and as soon as you get out of the car door, you hear the bell, and you get that feeling in your stomach because you know you don't have any change, you don't have any ones, so that way you go around to the other entrance of the grocery store so you don't have to make eye contact with them, and then when you come out, you don't have to look at them because you don't want to reject them because it's the Salvation Army and you're going to hell if you don't give them any money. Who wants to deal with that? Hypothetically. So, instead, they put out stormtroopers. Have you ever seen people run to the Salvation Army guy? Never! But they just had a little fun. They thought, we're going to show that we care by doing something that people aren't used to. I gave them a 20. You ever do that? Not always. And I also told everyone about it. So the first impression you make when someone walks into your club, are they telling their friends about it? Are they telling 1,200 of their friends about it? That's what it means to be joinable. Now, that's just one way, but and this is a big but. This is like Oprah big. I said it. You can't bastardize caring into a technique. There's no 7-step system. There's no process. There's no way to care. That's not what matters. What matters is your willingness to care, your awareness of caring, and the consistency with which you do care. Can I get an amen? Amen. Now, I learned this from my grandmother. I used to sing karaoke to her. P.S. This particular song was I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, which no man should ever attempt. Brought the house down. Now, years ago, when Mimi was in the senior living community, my older brother and I would go visit her. And whenever we could, if we were in town for lunch or coffee Saturday morning, and she'd be waiting in the lobby every time, and hugs and kisses and say hi, and this is what she would do. Whew, arm in arm. And she would parade us around the entire complex and show everybody, these are my grandkids, and she's introducing us to all of her friends that we've met like 16 times before. And we just have a great time. She's doing all the talking. We're just smiling and getting this thing and had a blast. And, we'd always kind of talk back and forth. And I imagine you've had this kind of conversation at a club meeting, like, oh, yeah, I got to make some phone calls. I got to follow up with that new member. Or, oh, do I have the time to do this? We all have that conversation, whether or not we should do it. Because, let's face it, caring takes work. Pretending to care takes a lot of work. But we learned it well from her. We discovered in our family that it's so easy to make Mimi happy. She used to say that the value of a gift is proportionate to the amount of time it took to wrap it. What gifts are you giving to your members? It's kind of like epoxy glue. How many of you have built something using epoxy? Okay, I never have, but I've heard about it. So, I learned about this on the Google last night. And epoxy has the two different elements coming together, and they bond, and you put it onto pipes or PVC or whatever you're doing, and how much epoxy do you need to hold something like that together? Not even more than a Skittle. That's a candy. And the cool part is, you have this much epoxy, and it holds forever. Well, that's the same thing with daring to care. Do you realize how easy it is to make these people happy? The members, kids, each other? You can do this and get this. It's amazing. And all of you have been there before. Everybody's got one of those stories. When you were the first friend to someone, because the onus is on you to take that first step, to make them feel welcome. Here's your challenge. I want you to constantly replay mental reruns of some past moments where that ratio exploded. We all had that story. Oh, I remember 5 years ago, I made that person's day, and all I did was instead of saying welcome, I said welcome back. Oh yeah, one word, but they think they remember me. Mother Teresa once said, people don't remember what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them. Look, you guys know what your members want. I have a sickness, and the cure is more cowbell. Other than that, like, you know what they want. And I'm busy too. I understand it. You got to make it tangible. That's the key. It's kind of like a practical joke. If you play a practical joke on someone, it's funnier if you physically do something. Same thing goes when you dare to care. You physically do it. Here's my association, greatest people in the world, the National Speakers Association. It's 3,500 people, professional speakers. It's loud. And these are some of my members, these are some of the board members, and this is our ex-president, one of my best friends, Steve Hughes. Steve is a master at daring to care. As our recently passed leader, he showed us, he set the stage. And now as I take the presidency, I learn from what he did. He would always send cards, handwritten, but it wasn't just a greeting card, kind of the same thing a lot of people do. He would find the most obscure card in Hallmark that had nothing to do with anything, and he would send it to you. I got this card in the mail, and I thought it was for my neighbor. But I open it up, and it says, Scott, since there aren't any good, hey, buddy, I feel your pain as you mend your broken heart cards, this was the best I could find. Hang in there, buddy. That's daring to care, and it's tangible, and it's in my office, and I just told 1,200 people about it. Are people doing that for you? I hope so. Let me ask you this. Will you bother, and have the courage to care? Still with me? One more cool. Number 3, let's talk.